Hello. Okay, I know I said yesterday I wished you all a Merry Christmas. I talked about macaroni and cheese, and I said that I won't be back on until after the new year. Well, because I'm kind of going through this faith challenge with a lot of things, definitely grief because of the holidays. You know, this is the second Christmas without my mother. Um, then also just some other things I'm dealing with, and also just praying for people that I know personally that are in ICU due to this COVID. And so it's just a lot going on. And right now, um, just like I'm human, you human, my faith is challenged. And I just wanted to share my book because actually I'm going back to read my book to help me through. It was actually published in 2009. There was a time that I felt it was time for me to write. I knew that I wanted to write a book. I felt that it was in me, and that's what I did. I actually self published, um, and this is the book that you can get on Amazon. Um, and it's reasonably priced. It's also a Kindle version that you can purchase on Amazon. Now, if you're going to purchase it through my website, as you see at the bottom, you can only purchase the hard copy from my website. But if you do that from my website, I will get more of the money versus you going on Amazon and purchasing the hard copy book from there. But if you want the Kindle, then it's best to go on Amazon to get the Kindle. But apart from that, I wanted to just share this book. Also, I'll have other people who may be going through the same type of challenge. I will ask if you want to come online and come on live. I think I will put the um, let me put the okay. I want to put the okay. I know I'm live. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, here we go. Let me put the link in my. Let me turn this down. Let me put the link in here for anyone who want to come on. But again, this is the book, Rising Above My Fears on My Wings of Faith. I now believe I can fly. Okay. Now let me tell you a little bit. I do have one of the, again, let me just show you. If you go on Amazon, you can just type in, let me show you. You can just type in, actually, you'll have to type in, let me go back. You'll have to type in, I now believe I can fly, and then it will come up. I tried rising above my fears on my wings of faith, but I don't know what happened. But anyway, that will bring it up, and you'll be able to see how to purchase. Okay. Now, I want to share my screen again. And this time I want to share the, let's see. I want to share this. All right. All right. So now this is inside the book. And this is the actual table of contents. And the table of contents, of course, you have the introduction, the beginning, you have emerge, equip. I copy and paste, so the T kind of dropped off, but it's actually in the book, so it didn't drop off in the book. Can you see? Can you see? Okay. The introduction, the beginning, emerge, equipped. I now believe I can fly. Your final test, and this plane represents you. And then we have the definitions to aid in understanding defined, and the R7 approach to lift off, And then we have about describe. Okay, so let's take that down. And let me start to read some excerpts. Okay. I hope you can hear me well. Can you hear me now? Okay. So let's start with page 6. Okay. Well, all of that sounds great. Now, the foundation of the book is based on my fear of flying, but also it just translates over to other things that we have this fear of. And right now, when you have a lack of faith, then fear is present. And so that's where I'm teetering, on this faith fear thing. So let's start. Well, all of that sounds great, seems great, and would be great. But as I begin to grow and understand more about being airborne, I had to accept the fact that I could only physically fly in an airplane. With this realization, I became less fascinated with the thought of flight. So I actually went the opposite way and developed a fear of flying that was beyond even what I could imagine. So I had this fear, and fear is a ground for dread or apprehension, alarm and agitation caused by the expectation and realization of danger. It is definitely the opposite of faith. Now, you know how we do FEAR? Well, this is what I believe fear is: faith evaporating, awaiting remedy. So while we're waiting for a solution or a problem, fear tries to settle in and take over our faith. And now, what is faith? Belief not based on logical proof or material evidence, usually something you hoping for, you're believing will happen and it has not happened. Evaporating, to disappear and vanish. Awaiting, to watch for, to be in store for, to wait. And the remedy, something that corrects an evil, fault, or error, medicine or therapy that relieves pain, cures disease, or corrects a disorder, or is your solution. So I begin to view the airplane as a limitation, something that would box me in. Even though I would be in flight, I felt I would be restricted, somehow confined. I did not want to fly in those conditions. It began terrifying. It became terrifying to even think of being carried by anything in the air, especially a plane. I had refused to go on my senior class trip because they were flying to the Bahamas. After wanting so desperately as a child to experience flight, to soar through the clouds into the stratosphere, I began to allow fear to rob me of having that first experience during a stage in my life when I was supposed to be young and daring. There was no hesitation, no afterthought about my decision to skip the trip. I was not going to think it over, consider the possibility of having fun on the senior trip, or even attempt to convince myself that it will be okay and I could possibly survive the experience. I simply feared flying, and that was that. And I actually had an alternative plan, and I actually set up a trip where 3 of my friends went with me, and we went to Ocean City. And so we were driven there, and then we came back on the bus. So that's that. So I constantly told myself I could not fly, would not fly, and should not fly. I had convinced myself that if I went up in a plane, the plane was going to fall out of the sky. Believing this premise, I also knew I could never stay suspended in the air when I tried so hard as a child, when I used to like jump off the porch and jump out the swing, and I just wanted to kind of flap my wings like I was a bird and think I was going to stay suspended in the air. But I just wanted that kind of sensation. So I knew I was going down with the plane, and of course I felt I would die. For many years, I refused to entertain the thought of going on any trips that involved flying. If I could not get there by car, train, foot, or ship, I was not going. I was able to avoid flying for a while, but the rubber meeting the road experience was very near. I was a young woman moving up in a company, climbing the corporate ladder, and then boom. Miss Corporate America was assigned to go to a conference in Minneapolis, Minnesota, flying on American Airlines. I begged my supervisor to let me go on the train, but she said the conference would be over by the time I would arrive. So she said I had to fly. Okay, I'm saying in my mind, she must be insane. She wants me to fly for the first time by myself on an airplane. Does she not understand I do not fly? Can she not comprehend I ain't going out like that? I wrestled with this over and over. I could not sleep. I repeatedly tried to get out of it, but the day of reckoning came and I had to go to the airport. I generally do not perspire, but I was sweating bullets and it was a fairly cold day in November. I got on the plane and they set me by a window. I reached for that shutter and slammed that thing down so fast it made a loud sound. The stewardess came by and asked, was everything okay? I replied, oh, yes. I just prefer not to look out the window. And she replied, and miss the beautiful scenery? Then I replied loudly, it'll be there whether I look or not. It's not going anywhere, so I won't be missing a thing. She smiled and moved on. The plane began to taxi down the runway, and I began to hold my breath like I was going to take a dive underwater. The plane lifted off, and I grabbed hold to the arms of that seat so tight, I made imprints in my hand. During the entire flight, you would have thought a ghost was sitting beside me. My face told of terror and turmoil that was inside. I was absolutely terrified, bordering being petrified. The stewardess would come by and check on me because they were very concerned. It probably was amazing to them to see me look so flush with my complexion. I finally got to my destination, and it took the rest of the day for me to calm down and try to forget how I arrived to Minneapolis, Minnesota. I made it through the conference, but oh no, another day of reckoning was a coming. I realized I had to get back on the plane to get home. My drama began upon my arrival to the Minnesota airport. I ran through the airport like a maniac. As I was pulling my luggage cart, it was actually running over people's feet and their luggage that they had in the aisles. I'm certain people thought I was insane, but guess what? I did not care. I boarded the airplane, and this time I was sweating bullets. Again, they seated me by a window, and I replayed the same character in the scene coming to the conference. But this time, I went a little further out there. When we hit air pockets, experienced turbulence, I literally cried. I told the stewardess I was ready to get off the plane, but they said it would not be a pretty sight if they opened the door and let me off at that moment. They begged me to take deep breaths and relax. The stewardess offered me the barf bag, and I used it to actually cover my eyes. Now, it is amazing how fear can cause us to look and act so silly and stupid without even caring how many people see us or even what they think of us. Well, I did make it through, vowing never to fly again. How long did I keep that vow? Well, not very long. My wonderful company sent me to Orlando, Miami, San Francisco, all on, you guessed it, the airplane. These were the worst of times for me, but no one seemed to care. You see, it was much more than hating to fly. I just did not believe I could fly and survive the experience. I believed that either the plane was going to drop and I would die, or I would have a heart attack on the plane trying to live through the flight. Thank the Lord, neither happened, but I had allowed my fear of flying to multiply to the 10th degree. I resigned from that job, not because they made me fly, but it was time to move on, full steam ahead towards my destiny. I thought I had gotten away from airplane flights, but somehow I ended up on a plane to Kansas for a job interview. I was not as shaky, but I experienced a great deal of anxiety. This was exactly what I had experienced a few years prior on my airplane rides, major anxiety. A few years after my Kansas trip, oh no, not again, but yes, I am in the air on my way to Bahamas. Now remember, this is the place I refused to go with my senior class, and now I was en route on a plane with my church. They said I looked like someone who was stoned, not to be offensive. My eyes are pretty big without drama, but they became extremely large and buckeyed during the flight to Bahamas and back. It did not matter that I was on a plane with others I knew and trusted. A lack of faith and a load of fear did not allow me to find comfort in their presence because the discomfort was within me. What is faith? It's the belief and trust in and loyalty to God, belief that does not rest on logical proof or material evidence, believing without seeing, the theological virtue defined as secure belief in God and a trusting acceptance of God's will and what God's word says. So I allowed these words to be pumped into my psyche that I do not believe I can fly. Even though it was proven that I had done it and survived it, still it did not register that I could believe I actually could fly and my flights could actually be enjoyable instead of fear-ridden, full of anxiety and stressful. I did not allow the positive to overthrow the negative. One might say, but you flew. You got on a plane. It could not have been that bad for you. Well, think about the many times we have done things afraid, without our minds nor our hearts in it, just going through the motions because others beckoned or forced us to do it. We did not do it freely. We were bound in fear. So it was done by going through the motion, not by us freely causing that motion. And Ruby D says, Lord, make me so uncomfortable that I will do the very thing I fear. So, to help me gain a revelatory understanding of flight, the process of preparing for flight, and the free will and essence of flight, I was enrolled in the Creature School of Flight. I was led to study the butterfly, a graceful creature of flight, and the eagle, a majestic creature of flight. In this study, I began to parallel my human development with these creatures made by God. Amazingly enough, I discovered that I can not only believe I can fly, but also gain an understanding of how and why. I learned the smaller creature, the butterfly, is one of the most fascinating and beautiful insects in the world. Its metamorphosis from a caterpillar to a beautiful creature of flight has captured the attention of many people from all walks of life. They possess a delicate beauty and a gracefulness that would cause you to say, oh. And the larger creature, the eagle, is known to be one of the most powerful birds in the world. They can soar high in the air for hours without flapping their wings. Because of this, eagles have been a symbol of freedom and power. They are bold and majestic. Their gliding on the wind thermals demands a wow. We all know that human beings are the greatest of all creations on earth. We are wonderfully and beautifully made. Receiving this revelation and understanding, one should be prompted to proclaim, my, look what the Lord has made. Psalms 139:14, I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. Now, as you go through the book, let's go to this page. Okay, you'll be going through the different chapters, and after each chapter, you'll go through what we call the R7. Okay, let's pull that up. This is the R7 approach. Okay, so after each chapter, you're going to go through this R7 approach. You're going to reflect, and that's to think or consider seriously. You're going to recognize, to know, to be something that has been perceived before, to identify or know from previous experience or knowledge, to acknowledge or accept the validity or reality of. Number 3, to reject. That means to throw away, to refuse to consider or grant. To reassure. That means to restore confidence. Number 5, receive, to gain the knowledge of, to take into the mind by assent to give admission to accept as an opinion, notion, to embrace. Number 6, rejoice, to enjoy, to delight, exhilarate, triumph. Number 7, revive, to impart new health, vigor, or spirit to renew in the mind, to restore to effectiveness, validity, or operative condition. Now, I'm going to take you through, after each chapter, this approach will be reflective of that chapter, and it will have you go through these steps. Like, for instance, after you go through the beginning, the chapter that's called the beginning, then you will embark upon the R7 approach and reflect on what truly happened during your birthing process. Recognize how it may have affected you spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically. Reject those ugly feelings from that experience that have taken root. Then you reassure the inner you that healing is in process and you will make it through. Then receive the positive of the negative that was there. No matter how painful it was, there's something positive you can use to learn and grow. Rejoice that you have been true to you in the experience, and now be thou revived. Okay, so each chapter, you're going to have these rising 7 approach steps, and it will be reflective of that chapter. Now, also in the middle of the book, you will see a section that says, take a moment. And during this section, when you're taking a moment, you're going to reflect. And you're going to write down what you're feeling about your life and whether you're even trying to lift off the ground after reading to this point in the book. So this book is very reflective, but it's also a healing process, also a tool to use to get focused, to overcome fear, and to build and strengthen your faith. Okay, no matter what the situation is, this book can apply and help you. Okay, now I'm going to read another excerpt. Okay, I'm going all the way to page 44. Okay. Yes, at times it is okay to take cover under a leaf, like the butterfly, because you are accepting your moments of vulnerability and recognizing what you can and cannot handle. Now, at this time, I feel like I'm under a leaf, going under a leaf, been under a leaf, but let's continue. But by all means, quickly switch and get from under that leaf. You don't want to stay there past your time, or you may want to mimicry. Okay, now also in this book, there are going to be bold and underlined words. And those words, you will find the definition in the back of the book. So I think this book is excellent. It's not, I'm not trying to be biased, but it is like a workbook as well as a book. Okay. And so you'll really be able to work through some things. And the words, the definitions you will find are in the order that they appear in the book. So mimicry is the act or practice of imitating an expression, speech, and gesture. The resemblance through natural selection of one organism to another, or to be a natural object. Okay. So I find myself in a butterfly state at least once every month. Well, let me just put this like this. We women, we go through the change. But even going through the change, you still have those moments. And I'm having one now, not because of the change, but because of all the things that are taking place in my life. Right now, I am feeling very vulnerable. Now, I am aiming towards exiting out of a butterfly state. Within an hour or no more than a few minutes a day, I'm going to take time to meditate, pray, and definitely try to focus on the positive and build my faith. Now, once I recognize that I am in that fragile state, that butterfly state, I do avoid storms that can clip my wings. I do avoid people that I know mean me no good. And I am honest with myself about the state I am in and what I can actually handle. If you know that harm could happen to someone if they go to a certain place or are exposed to a certain atmosphere or area, would you take them there if you cared for them? I do not think so. Therefore, care that much more for you. Do not subject yourself to stress when you don't have to. We do have choices. I know how to blend in, but not to become something I am not while blending. So the goal is not to stay while you're blending for a elongated period of time. Once you recognize your state of mind, start working towards rebuilding yourself. If you recall, the butterfly goes to the sun as a source of light, heat, and to be rejuvenated. In the butterfly state, immediately go to your source and get revived. My source is God. He lives within me, and He is my present help in the time of trouble. Now, please understand, it is very dangerous to remain in the butterfly state of mind. It may not be a physical death immediately, but when your mind, spirit, and soul is shut down, in hiding too long, and you are hitting from the source of strength, warmth, and rejuvenation, then you begin to die inside. Okay? Remember, the butterfly only lives 30 to 90 days. So once you use up your butterfly days, you are gone. Now, as quickly as we can, we need to switch from the butterfly state of mind to an eagle state of mind. You may be wondering how a butterfly can become an eagle. Well, it metamorphosed from a caterpillar. So this is just an analogy here. So, well, it is a fact that the butterfly is the only insect species, besides the moth, that during metamorphosis, the actual body structure, appearance, function, and internal organs begin to become something totally different. It does not become a bigger version of a caterpillar, what it once was, but it becomes a butterfly, something totally different, having no resemblance to what it once was. So why can't we change from butterfly state to an eagle state? The mind is greater than an insect metamorphosis. An eagle state of mind is greater in sustaining life, more beneficial in building life and abiding therein. A person can live a lot longer with more freedom and power in an eagle state of mind. As stated, the eagle state of mind is more beneficial. Another reason this is so is because the eagle can endure a storm if it must. The eagle has enough strength and wing power to fly through the eye of a storm. He may be a little ruffled when he comes out on the other side, but he makes it through. Also, the eagle has wisdom to know when to take cover, roost, and rest in the storm. Many times we need to rest our mind, spirit, and soul, take cover during the storm, and the eagle understands the wind and the thermals. He knows how to glide and conserve its own energy by letting the wind beneath its wings lift him. He knows how to spot and catch the right wind. I stated earlier that our wind is the words and the things that we allow to enter in our inner being. Whether it enters in through the eye gate, the ear gate, or the mouth gate, we let the wind in. This wind will either help us to glide, fly, and soar, or it will cause us to plummet. With the eagle state of mind, we can overcome obstacles. Everything will look so tiny as we soar to the heavens. We will have the keenness, the sharpness, the wisdom, and the agility to not be so heavenly bound in our earthly good. Even though our mind, spirit, and soul are in flight, our feet are still on the ground. So we're still based in reality. We are still in touch with the earthly things, the situations we must deal with, the things we must overcome. But because we have a higher level of understanding and keener insight, we know that we will gain dominion over the earthly things instead of them having dominion over us. We will not let the earth or this world put limitations on us because we can fly, we can soar, we will reach a higher destiny. Now, also through this book, there will be many quotes, like for instance, Andrew Carnegie, Andrew, the man who agrees the man who acquires the ability to take full possession of his own mind may take possession of everything else to which he is justly entitled. Okay, so that is like towards the end of the book. And then you have another section that says fly high until you soar. So this book also kind of ends with an exercise. Okay, and it's called Your Final Destination. And this is your final test. And this is, you must take this test before you are cleared to lift off. And this is a whole system that goes with this, and it's in the book. And you literally will write on these blank lines, and it would explain what each section is, like the pilot. Who is your pilot? You know, who are your passengers? Are there negative thoughts, negative things? Your destination, where are you trying to go? What are your goals? What fuel do you have? What is causing you to get up and go? Are you given positive affirmations every day? Is it because you promised a loved one that you were going to finish college? Is it because you had promised yourself you was going to start your business? So based on that promise, this is your fuel to push forward. Also, the jet engine, your thrust. So it gives you, what is your stabilizer? Is it the word of God? Is it your things that you read, that you take in to help build your knowledge? What is it? And so this is your final test. This is something that you would definitely want to look at. And I'm going to let you see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. All right. Okay, so this is your final test. This is the airplane. This is what I was talking about. Okay, so you see the pilot. Who is flying your plane? Is it you, or is it other people that you are letting come in your life and take over? Or is it circumstances that you are letting fly your plane? And circumstances, they don't have any experience. So who is it that is flying your plane for you? What passengers do you have? Are they the negative words? Are there people who are negative, or people who just can't go with you to the next level? Your fuel. What is fueling you to move forward? You know, or what do you need? You may need to change your fuel. You know, like sometimes people go to Exxon and they say Shell is better for certain cars. So you have to determine what fuel is better for you. So this is the final test that's in the book. So I really think that this is something that you can do as a family. You can give to your young ones so that they can work through a lot of things. But this was, let me show you. This was originally published in 2000. Then there was a reprint in 2009. And this is relevant for today. For all the situations that we're going through, this book is definitely relevant for today. So I wanted to share this with you all because this is what I decided to pick up and go through again. I mean, you can always go through this book, once a year, twice a year. And as we're going into a new year, I think this book is a great book to start you on your way and to deal with all the things, any issues. Like I said, my current situation, I am dealing with a faith challenge. And this is helping me to get on track, to get focused. It's taking me through steps. It's making me reflect. It's making me think. It's making me write things down and build my faith, making sure the proper words I'm speaking to my spirit, because my spirit was like all over the place and I'm feeling down. But this book is a reminder to me that I need to put some work in. I need to get to a place of understanding that I cannot let fear overtake my faith, and that God has did it many times before, brought me out of situations. turned things around and worked miracles when there was nothing on earth or naturally that could be done. I had done everything, thought of everything. And another thing is, I had to realize I have to put God in the equation and not just me, you know, running around in a circle trying to figure it out. And so this book is helping me to slow down. And I still will actually do what I said as far as um, not coming back on until after the new year. But I just wanted to share my current situation and what I'm going through and what is helping me through. And, like I said, this book originally was done in 2000. It was self-published then. The reprint in 2009 was self-published. And then I decided to bring it back again and put it on Amazon. And of course on my website. And as you see, there's a banner that's going across the bottom of the screen. And that's how you can actually purchase the book on my website, say seals.biz, or on Amazon. And you just search, I Now Believe I Can Fly. And I'm telling you, this is a great gift. Let's give a New Year's gift to people. You can give a Christmas gift too. If you're going to do the hard copy, I don't think it's going to arrive before Christmas, but it can be a New Year's gift. This is a new start. I mean, 2020 has been a monster. To me, I feel it has been a monster. I thought 2019, when my mother transitioned, I thought that was going to that still is something that I'm dealing with, because I'm dealing with around the holidays, those who have lost loved ones. You're going to grieve, and it's a process. I'm trying to get into what they call the Christmas spirit, but it's a major struggle emotionally and mentally. I'm just kind of not there. So in my spirit, it was like, go to your book. This book was written for this type of situation that you're dealing with right now. Go on and get your own medicine. You know how they used to, doctors treat yourself, physician treat thyself. Okay, so now author, treat thyself with thy book. So, I hope that you all will consider purchasing the book, giving it to anyone that you think may benefit from it, but even that you may benefit from it. I hope you would share this live. I hope that the excerpts that I did share actually would help you. Now, there's another thing that I wanted to share in reference to this. Let me share the screen again. This this airplane. Okay, let's share the screen again, because I'm going to tell you what some of the things are. Okay, so you can see. Okay, I said the palette. The palette, serving or leading as guide to steer or control the course. Pilots must keep a visual lookout for other aircraft, in addition to relying on instructions from air traffic control. So, you are the pilot. You should be the pilot, okay? You should be the one controlling this plane. And you should be the one that's saying your destination. If you're not sure where you're supposed to be going, well, you need to seek God and figure out. But I'm sure there's always something innate in all of us that will tell us our destination, our purpose, our reason for being here. It's not just to work and do that. I mean, even now, me sharing, I know this is part of my purpose. This is part of my destiny. So you, as the pilot, you need to determine, what's your destiny? What's that destination that you need to take this plane to? Okay. Now, if you look up here, it's the line for the airline. You name your airline. See, this is where you are taking control. You are taking control of this airplane. Okay, because this airplane is the mechanism or the tool you're going to use to get where you need to go. Okay, now the thing is, it's just so ironic that I'm not an airplane person, but because I fear this airplane, that's why it was given to me to use it as a metaphor of my whole purpose of life and what I'm carrying through life, what I need to unload. Say, for instance, let's go to, okay, let's go. You name your airline. Okay. Now this area is where the fuselage, where other people and or items are on board. What do you want people to see, experience when they encounter you? Okay, so I can name my plane "Come Fly Cecile's Joy Ride." I don't know, but that's where you would name your airline. What you want people to feel and see when they come to you, when they are in your presence. You know, do you want them to feel joy, laughter, or someone they can confide in, someone who they feel can understand them? Then let's observe the wings. Okay, now this is all in the book. Make sure the wind is the right wind to carry you in the right direction. You know the song, "You Are the Wind Beneath My Wings." Make sure the you is a you that is truly in your corner and able to maintain the level of wind power to carry you where your plane needs to go. You got to be equipped. Now, the stabilizer. The stabilizer is this back wing right here. Okay, the stabilizer in your life must be of good substance, secure and sustainable to make sure that your plane, will remain leveled and stable. Prayer is a perfect stabilizer, especially when things seem to become a little turbulent and you begin to rock and sway. Just pray. So, think of the different stabilizers: prayer, meditation. Those are the things that you can write on that line. Okay, let's go to the jet engine. Okay, here's the jet engine. Okay, this is what gives the plane the power, the thrust to push forward and move quickly through the air. Now, where does your power come from? What gives you a thrust and pushes you forward? So you should write down three things. Three things. It could be your family that gives you that thrust, that push. It could be a spouse. It could be, of course, God to uplift you and push you through. Now, last but not least, we have these passengers. Who are the passengers on your plane? That's what you need to think about. Who are the passengers on your plane? Some belong there because you have been assigned to encourage, protect, teach, motivate, show them love, or maybe help them get to their destination. They may be on board to help you get to the next level with whatever they have within them, like their talents and their gifts. They may be there to aid you or teach you for a moment. But some are actually stowaways, vagabonds, hijackers, and thieves to steal and destroy your plane and take you off course. We have to be real about some of these passengers that we have. Now, be clear on this. Everyone cannot go with you to the greater heights you are destined to go to. Do an evaluation. Assess your passengers. Some may have to get off by parachute. That means eject them before you land and get to your destination. You may have to land and make a stop or layover before reaching your destination to let some off politely so that they can connect somewhere else with someone else. But be sure, be very sure that the passengers you are carrying all the way are supposed to be on board with you when you reach your destination. Now, these passengers may not be people. They may be things you need to overcome. Like my fear, that's a passenger kind of right now that I have. I have the passenger of fear and faith, but I need to parachute fear out of my plane. Now, it could be procrastination, that disbelief, low self-esteem. It can be a lot of things. And if you have too many passengers and too much baggage, even on big airlines, planes, they have a limit of weight that they can carry so the plane can fly properly. So you have to see if you have some things that are weighing you down, they just got to go. So I would write this, if you get the book, the passengers, I would put in a different ink color. Um, Maybe the ones that's supposed to be there and the ones that's not. I mean, it doesn't have to just be three. You can write as many. You may need extra paper or something to write some more. But the bottom line is you need to know who is on board your plane. You need to make sure, first of all, that you are the pilot. A lot of times we turn our reins over or the pilot seat over to someone that's not worthy and someone that really means us no good. We find ourselves in so many situations like that, because we want to be liked, or we feel that they do have our best interest at heart, but then they've done some things that it's obvious, like Maya Angelou said, when they show you who they are, believe them, and then act accordingly. So make sure, again, you haven't turned over the reins to the wrong person. Now, I'm going to repeat. There's some passengers that needs to be ejected. And I'm talking about a hard ejection, and not where you just land and politely let some people off, but those that mean you no good, whether it's people, situations, procrastination, whatever that is, some of those things just need to be gone. And some of them need to be ejected without a parachute. How about that? Because they need to just be dead. And I'm not talking about people. I'm just talking about the things that are within you that is causing you to go off course or not even lift off. You need to kill those things. You need to let it be a hard ejection, no parachute. You just gone. When you hit the ground, it's over, done, shattered. Now, you have to be very sensitive during the ejection process, but know it must be done for your good. And if it's in reference to people, for your good and their good. So now I ask you to get in your pilot seat, let all systems go, and lift off. But before you start flying, commit to lift others. And that's where there's a line provided where it says, I commit to lift, and then you can put someone's name. Now, I really hope that this was inspirational. I hope that it was something that you can use as a tool. And believe me, it will never go out of style. I pray it will never go out of print. But I hope that me coming on and sharing, this is what I am using now as a tool to help me get through what I'm going through. I'm telling you, as a minister, I'm still human. I don't have all the answers. And another thing is, because I know I'm human, I definitely know that going through the things that I'm going through, I'm realizing I'm not isolated in this. There are many others that are going through even more than I'm going through, more than I'm experiencing. And I really wish, and I've done this in the past, when we had our breast cancer book, Women of Virtue, we had a compilation of many people contributing to a book. And I also distribute my I Now Believe I Can Fly book to the women that we actually gave the breast cancer book to as well. And I've also done a seminar in reference to that plane. I've done seminars and workshops centered around that plane analogy. And it has helped several people. And that's why I'm bringing it back. I am bringing it back because it's helping me. And I hope that it will help you. So again, I have gone across how you can purchase the book. And if there's anyone who wants to come on and actually share that they are going through some things, that they need to get their plane together, they need to take over and become the pilot because they let someone else sneak in, and hijack their plane because it has happened. We've heard of hijackers and literally hijackers hijacking physical planes. We sometimes let people come and hijack our plane. Well, now it's time for us to take back control. Now it's time for us to get rid of fear. And like I said in the beginning, the way I see fear as faith evaporating, awaiting remedy. And I don't need my faith to be evaporating. God said we can move mountains. All we need is faith of a mustard seed. Well, I'm trying to even build that faith to, a mustard seed is real tiny. It actually looked like a little speck of pepper. So if that faith right there can move mountains, then if I just eliminate fear and realize, see, your faith can start diminishing because you're waiting for that remedy. It's something that you're hoping for. It's something that you can't see. It has not manifested yet. That's what faith is about. Even having faith in God, I mean, we don't literally see God, but we know within our souls, within our spirit, that He is there. He is guiding us. So again, I want to also tell you, let God be your control center. Okay, there's a control tower with these planes, right? So pilots depend a great deal on the control tower. Now, this is in the book. Make sure you are always tuned into the right frequency to get instructions, direction, help, aid, and assistance from your control tower. Be careful of who, what you listen to. Make sure the voice is the ultimate of knowledge and power. If you listen to the wrong voice, you may veer way off course or even crash. Listen to the all-knowing voice. My control tower is God. I get that unction to go left, drop down, and I move quickly. It is known that the pilot does not second guess the control tower. The command is given, and the pilot acts accordingly without hesitation. But you got to build that communication too. You got to build that communication. You got to build that relationship with your control tower so that you can trust the instruction. And when you hear their voice, sometimes something may try to intercept when you're on that radio to the control tower, but the one in the control tower, you begin to know their voice. And so if it's a fraud trying to intercept and cause you to veer off, not to listen to that voice. But you have to build that relationship with God so you will know that that it is His voice instructing you to go left, right. You may have to land for a minute. You may have to land to refuel, or it may be that something nipped your wing. So you need to land so that they can check it out and make sure that the wing is good and you can continue on your flight. So build that relationship with God so that when you hear from the control tower and get those instructions, you know what to do. And the thing is, when they're flying, the pilot sometimes don't know what they may encounter on the flight, but usually the control tower can see the weather before the pilot can, and will say, okay, you need to drop 13,000 feet, or you may experience some turbulence, so you need to go higher. So again, the control tower is God, but you need to be the pilot. So again, thank you for listening, and I pray all is well. And for real, I'm actually not going to come back. Okay, let me not just say that. Okay, I don't know. But my intentions right now is to really focus, really get back into this book. I've already done the first two parts in the beginning. I'm in the process of reflecting because you don't realize how even your beginning, your birth has an impact on you. I tell people that when I was in my mother's womb, my umbilical cord was wrapped around my neck twice. So I was almost strangled. And that may be why I talk a lot. No. But I knew that I'm going to be a talker, a speaker. I want to be a motivator, a teacher, an instructor. And so if I would have, so right then, something was trying to cut me off before I even emerged and was birthed, so those things like that, those traumas can actually follow you, and you have to understand that process and how it can affect you and how you can overcome. So that's what's in the book as well. And so that's where I'm kind of at right now at the beginning. And then like I said, I do the Rising 7 approach where I'm, doing all those steps. And it's really helping me to get focused and to get back on track, to actually understand my flight pattern, where I'm veering off, what I'm allowing to weigh me down. And so the passenger of fear is going to have to go. And that's one I'm just going to have to eject with no parachute, because when it go, it needs to land and just break into pieces, never to live again. So I hope that you will walk with me through this book, by getting your own copy. And then, eventually we can talk about it. You can always hit me up on Messenger or whatever and say, hey, I got through chapters, blah, blah. Let's talk about it. And we can even come on live. I would break my time off of saying that I'm not going to be on live, and I would come back on live so that we can talk about it if you want. Or you could just message me and we can hook up another way. But the thing is that I just hope that this book will help you as it is helping me. Now, I did put the what you call it, the link in the Facebook chat. Let me see. I'll put it again. If there's anyone who wants to come in and share anything, feel free. If there's anything you felt, you can even type in the live comment area if you feel that there was something said that, hit something or helped you. Just share. Okay, I loaded it down. And it's pretty self-explanatory how you can come on live. But again, I thank you all for watching. I'll give you another 5 minutes maybe if anyone wants to come on and just share, because we all are going through something, and that's how we help encourage one another to say, yes, I'm going through that too. This is what's helping me. Or I've been through that, and this is how I got through. So, our testimony going through these tests is not just for us, but it's to also help others. Anytime we go to a different level, we should always consider reaching back to help someone else, to help bring them up. That has always been my thing, and one of the other things that we do here is to educate, elevate, and empower. So whichever way I can do that, through a written word or a spoken word, that's what I aim to do, and hope that it will help you. So if there isn't anyone who wants to come in and share or say anything, then for real, I'm about to sign off. And again, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa. I pray that you remain safe, you mask up. If you're going to come together as a family, just try to make sure it's not a crowd. Just be safe because this COVID is real. Um, I know several people, and like I said, currently, um, a close person is in ICU, and I just ask you just I solicit your prayers. You don't have to know the name. Just say, just pray for all those that are in the hospital or going through the sick, the shut in, whether it's COVID related or whatever. Just pray for the nation. Pray for the leaders. Pray for one another. Show love. And again, I am here for you. If you want me, call me, message me, send a comment, because I am on Messenger. And that's really all that I wanted to share today, this evening. Be blessed and many happy risings.